So to start, I'm sorry for the quality of the webcam. I don't have a green screen, so you're going to see the room that I'm in. Secondly, the camera is not the same, or I mean, the microphone is not the same. It's going to be a lot of, it's going to sound different, but the message is the same, and that's No Man's Sky is something I never thought it could be. When the game was first announced, I thought, okay, this game is in space. It's somewhat really comparable to Elite Dangerous. This is my thinking. And from the start, I never liked No Man's Sky. I always looked at it and I was like, this game doesn't seem like it's going to take off. It's almost seems like a Sony funded Kickstarter. Like it didn't seem great. All the footage I saw, all the trailers, all the announcements, the updates, I was like, there's nothing here that brings me in. Be it that I never tried the game when it first came out. It came out exclusively to PlayStation 4, I believe, and that's it. And when it did, it was completely, it was a mess. It was very terrible. Everyone had, the game was not what it was supposed to be. Sean Murray for sure lied his ass off to millions upon millions of people, stating a lot of things that would be in the game, and when the game came into their hands, it was not there, and people were left to think, well, what is this? I think it was an attempt to show what can be done and what he wanted to have done, but he could not execute it in the time that I would believe Sony wanted them to do it. The game had so much hype, you can believe that Sony wanted to sell as quick as possible. If the sales, the pre-orders are skyrocketing up, Sony could only assume at some point it's going to go down, and they want to hit it at that high point, and they probably thought this is now Sean Murray, Hello Games, release the game now, and the game was unfinished. So many things were missing, and I was like, yeah, that's why I did not even pay attention to the game. I did not care for it. It was nothing of interest to me. Never. Seriously, never. That game, even on my, what was it, my top 7 survival games, I made a joke when I got to the first top tier survival game, and I said, oh, I showed footage of No Man's Sky, and obviously, no, it was Subnautica. Subnautica is my game of the year, almost. It's a competitor with Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, strangely, I have to add No Man's Sky to that list, and it's why? It's because No Man's Sky somehow did the biggest 180, and when they did that 180, they put the accelerator to 10,000, and it's really strange, but it pulled me in. When I saw the No Man's Sky Next trailer, I thought, okay, so what is this? Why it looks like a different game, but it is still the same game released by the same developers. So how can I trust it? And I was really wondering, what is this game gonna give me? So I looked at what the game had prior and what it has now, and while they did add a bunch of stuff, the game was also missing a couple of things. Now, before I purchased it, I was talking with my cousin. We're in the same room. He sits back there on his computer, and by myself, I wanted to get the game, but I was legit like this dude's gonna freaking bag on me. He's gonna be like, "You dumbass, you bought No Man's Sky? Are you stupid?" So I don't know if it was him or me, but we were like, "Let's look at some footage." I think I put it on the PlayStation right here in this area. I have the PlayStation 4 on a big TV, and I put on some footage, and I'm like, that's what No Man's Sky is now. And it just looks, I think he never saw the trailer. That's what it was. He never saw the No Man's Sky Next trailer, and I was like, let me show you this. And I showed it to him, and he's like, wow, that game looks completely different than what it was. And I was like, yeah, it does. And I told him, why don't you go look up some reviews on Steam? And I think now it's probably mostly positive, but at the time it was mixed reviews, recently mostly positive reviews. And he was reading them up, and they were saying, yeah, I hated the game when it came out, it was trash, but they've done something different. They did the biggest update. It's crazy. And even one guy compared it to what Final Fantasy 14 or Final Fantasy Online did. If you guys don't know, when Final Fantasy Online came out, it was terrible. The game was unplayable. It was playable, but it was like so buggy, nobody wanted to play it. And they actually re-released Final Fantasy XIV under the name A Realm Reborn, being this is the same game, but we remade it because it was so bad. And they were comparing No Man's Sky to Final Fantasy. Now I've played Final Fantasy Online, A Realm Reborn. I've played it, and I'm like, this is a pretty fun game. It's the kind of game that you don't have to see the prior Final Fantasy games to understand the 14th online installment. And play No Man's Sky, you don't have to play the game from launch to now to understand it. It's something interesting. What Subnautica gave to me, where I go to different biomes and I decide where to go and see these very interesting places in Subnautica. No Man's Sky does that, but to a galactic level. You can go anywhere. I mean, I kept grinding and grinding to get my hyperdrive up just so I could jump 900 light years away. Just leave my home base and go any direction in the universe. Infinite. Explore many different planets. Now, it's procedurally generated, and when the game first came out, it was like very, very random. You would get some things that just didn't make sense even to the game. You'd get different plants on different planets where you're like, how does this fit here? It was so random, it made no sense. And they actually fine-tuned their random procedural generated engine to make it to where now things make sense. And now when you play the game, it looks a bit stale. The planets, the second you scan a planet in space and you see it's a radiation planet, a toxic planet, a bountiful planet, a very tropical planet, you can already guess what kind of planet you would see, even though it's randomly generated. I would say, let's say there's 20 variants of a tropical planet plant, you can probably guess the correct one. That thing I did notice quite a lot. What gets dry, surprisingly, is the randomness of the universe in the game. You're playing and you're like, I feel like I know what I'm gonna see. And you go there and you're like, yeah, this is what I thought. Now, you're just going, usually, you go to planets to mine. It's like, the game, to me, there's a main story. It's to follow the Atlas path, or go to the center of the galaxy, which someone did on launch a week or two after, and it was a big disappointment. I don't know what it is now, but I don't do that. My mission is to find the best suitable planet with low sentinels and just a very beautiful planet that I'm happy to live on, and put my whole base. Really? You're gonna do that now? Put my whole base on that planet. And to do that, you have to jump around a lot. So the game makes you grind, and if you think Minecraft is grindy, this game is one grindy son of a bitch, because you run out of materials so quickly that you do have to jump from planet to planet or go from tree to tree and mine all your carbon, your sodium, your oxygen, your cobalt. It's just crazy. The game brings some new things. You have a new third-person mode. You finally have dedicated multiplayer gameplay. Now, the multiplayer gameplay is not all that great. The reason why I say this is me and my cousin, who's, again, in the same room with me, we now share a room, we can be on the same planet. I can say, hey, come to my planet, or we can both jump to a random planet. We'll go there, but we're on different missions. Maybe he has to create glass. I have to create some sort of portable machine. So I have to mine different things. He has to mine different things. We're never on the same page. No matter what we do, even if we go through the game the same way, we usually need different items, which makes us able to come together, but have the necessity to diverge. Right now, there's really nothing for multiplayer besides you can see your friend, you can be on the same planet, you can build your bases together, but that's about it. He's helped me a few times when I got attacked by pirates, and I was like, yo, my ship is meant for exploration, not fighting. He's like, gotcha. And he'll just beam right to me and just and kill everybody. And I'm like, thank you very much. And I'll just continue on, go my own way. he'll go his own way. We never follow each other. It's not like your traditional, let's say Minecraft. You can actually build upon your friend's base and expand and be like, this is my area, and and you guys have, it's nothing like that. Or even the forest, it's not like that. It's right now there's multiplayer, but there's really nothing to do. um, it does give you the necessity or the want to explore. Me, when I built my hyperdrive and I can go from 900 to 1,000 light year jumps, I took advantage of it and I kept jumping and jumping to keep finding different planets, because there are planets that are very unique. You find very different creatures. You even find planets that have great amount of resources that you might find difficult to find on your own home planet where your base is at. So you probably, what I do is I build a base at a different location so that if I need a certain mineral, I could jump to that base I have there, collect it, jump back. It's weird. It's like him and I grinded on that game. I think I have maybe 50 hours. He has 60 or 70, and we played it for like a week straight. I had days off, he had days off. I think together we spent time in this room 3 or 4 days straight, not jumping to anything else. And it wasn't until recently where I was like, I could play something else. It's because it is the same thing. If you played Minecraft The Forest, Rust, anything like that, you're just grinding for minerals, for resources, and it becomes very boring. But in that game, you have the aspect of going to any other place in the universe and finding something different. I do wish they did something different with the apex predators. So every planet you go to, you can find different foliage, different fauna, and different life forms, different animals. But the animals guaranteed are not going to attack you. On any planet, they will not attack you. The only animal that will attack you is a predatorial animal, which basically, if you mess with their eggs, they're gonna come after you. And it makes sense, but it's just one variant. In a procedurally generated universe, it's just one type of animal. You take their whispering eggs, they come out of nowhere, and they just try to attack you. And it's the same thing. And at first, I was like, this is really interesting. But I'm also like, this is the same creature on every single planet. I could jump 900 light years away, and that creature's still there. Another thing is the Sentinels. They kind of get annoying. They have a very stupid AI, but when they're not stupid, they kick your ass so quickly, you kind of just want to run away. Sentinels you have to watch out for. They're not much of a great threat if you're paying attention to the Sentinel layout when you get to a planet. If you're paying attention, you'll be like, oh, I should not be here too long because the Sentinels are very hostile here, so they can kill me very easily. They'll kill me on sight, so I should just get what I need and leave. Um, the game does feel very empty. You have numerous space stations, and you have to learn various languages to understand all these species, but it still feels like you're very alone. You're alone wandering through this universe that has infinite types of planets, variants, trees, anything. It's a game that I can say, it's strange. It almost meets Subnautica's level, but Subnautica has that focus. You're on one planet, an oceanic planet, just underneath the ocean. That's where you're at. With Subnautica, I mean with No Man's Sky, you can go into the ocean, but you can also go above ground and travel the whole entire planet to your heart's content. And if you're not happy with that, stay in the same system, go to a different planet, a desolate planet, a dead planet, a abandoned planet, a forsaken planet, wherever you want. It's really, if you're wondering watching this video, is No Man's Sky worth me to buy? I'd say yes. If you're going to compare it to what No Man's Sky used to be, don't. It's not that no more. You don't have to worry about losing your money. You're going to get your money's worth. If you give the game the chance to try to bring you in, you'll get your money's worth. If you're going to say, nope, that's the same game, it's the same developer, they're going to try to screw me over, and you're going to go into that game with that attitude, you're not going to like it. So keep that in mind. My opinion, if you haven't purchased it, get No Man's Sky with the next update, which you kind of have to, no matter what version you get, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, the next update is a necessity. but I'm glad to see that Hello Games did not abandon the project, but stuck with it. After 2 years of silence, we get this. Guys, this is my biased opinion of No Man's Sky. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.